Hello everyone and welcome to BYJU'S. Let's start off with our daily quiz. First question. Consider the following statements with respect to Eklavya model residential schools. They are a flagship intervention of the Ministry of Education to provide quality education to tribal students in remote tribal areas. Statement number 2. The scheme has been in place since 1998. And statement number 3. Currently, there are over 500 schools sanctioned across the country in 28 states and UTs. So which one of the statements is or are true? You can pause the video and attempt a question at this point of time. So, they are a flagship intervention of the Ministry of Education. Now, this statement is actually wrong. Why? Because the EMRS is a scheme which is funded not by the Ministry of Education but by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. In fact, this EMRS was started way back in 1997-1998. This means that the second statement stands correct, the first is wrong, and the idea was to impart quality education to ST children in remote areas. Interestingly, the school's focus is not just on academic education, but also on all-round development. So, the objective is to provide quality middle and high-level education to ST students in remote areas. And every school has a capacity of around 480 students, catering to students from classes 6 till classes 12th. The Indian Human Development Survey shows the incidence of poverty is the highest among the ST population, that is as high as 49.6%. Also, the dropout rates are very high when it comes to tribal population. It is as high as 70.9% from classes 1 to 10th. Also, statement number 3. Currently, there are over 500 schools sanctioned across the country in 28 states. Yes, this statement is also correct because there are over 550 schools which have been sanctioned across the country. And this target is actually set to increase further because by 2022, every block with more than 50% ST population and at least 20,000 tribal persons will have an EMRS. So the statement number 3 is also correct. So since 1 is wrong, you can eliminate A, B and D and you're left with 2 and 3. In fact, statement number 3 is slightly factual. You could have easily eliminated statement number 3 because statement number 1 was wrong, and as soon as you eliminate statement number 1, all you get is the option C. This news item was picked from one item published yesterday in PIB. MOU has been signed with 21 states and UTs for better functioning of Eklavya model residential schools. Next question. Consider the following statements about International Financial Services Center. Number 1. Gift City is the only designated IFSC in India. The central government shall approve only one IFSC in a special economic zone. And statement number 3. An IFSC caters to customers outside the jurisdiction of the domestic economy. Again, you can pause the video and take an attempt at the question. So, what is an IFSC? An International Financial Service Center. Basically, an IFSC caters to customers outside the jurisdiction of the domestic economy. Third statement is correct. Such centers deal with flows of finance, financial products, and services across borders. In fact, way back in 2007, an expert panel which was headed by the former World Bank economist Percy Mistry had submitted a report on making Mumbai an international financial center. But because of the global financial crisis in 2008, the countries, including India, became very cautious about rapidly opening up their financial sectors and the plan was shelved. However, GIFT, that is Gujarat International Finance Tech City, located in Gandhinagar, is India's first and only IFSC conceptualized way back in 2011. So, the first statement is also correct. Now coming to the second statement. Under the SEZ Act of 2005, that is the Special Economic Zones Act 2005, the central government shall approve only one international financial services center in a special economic zone. So this statement is also correct. In fact, it is the central government which approves the setting up of an IFSC in the SEZ and also prescribes the requirements for setting up and the operation of such centers. So all the 3 statements are correct and hence you had to find out the incorrect statements. None of the statements are incorrect. The right answer is D. This was picked up from Indian Express, which related to with more shops for PM's Gift City, Mumbai's IFSC dream fades further. Moving on to the next question. Question number 3. Which of the following statements about Finance Commission is incorrect? Number 1. It is constituted by the President of India under Article 280 of the Indian Constitution. B. It is the duty of the Finance Commission to make recommendations to the President as to the distribution between the center and the states of the net proceeds of taxes. C. It also makes recommendations with respect to the measures needed to augment means to increase the consolidated fund of a state to supplement the resources of the panchayats in the state. And statement number D, the constitution also provides for the number of members and their qualifications who are to be appointed to the commission. You can again pause the video and take an attempt at the question. So, statement number 1, A. Yes, the Finance Commission is a constitutional body under Article 280. So the first statement is correct. It is constituted by the President of India. B. Yes, it is a duty of the Finance Commission to make recommendations to the President as to the distribution of the net proceeds of taxes, not just between the center and states, but also amongst the states. Apart from this, it also makes recommendations with respect to the measures needed to increase the CFS or the consolidated fund of a state to supplement the resources of the panchayats as well as municipalities. So this statement is also correct. Let's come to statement number D. The Constitution also provides for the number of members and their qualifications who are to be appointed to the commission. Now this statement is wrong. Why? Because under Article 280, this has been left to the Parliament. And in 1951, Parliament has passed a law known as the Finance Commission Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1951, and under Section 3 of the same Act, qualifications for appointment, the manner of selection, and the number of members of the commission is mentioned. So, the Finance Commission is a 5-member body. You have a chairman and 4 other members. The qualifications are as follows. The chairman of the commission shall be a person who has experience in public affairs, and other members will have experiences in fields like finance and accounts of the government, financial matters of administration, special knowledge of economics, and we also have a provision for appointment, a person who is or has been or is qualified to be appointed as a judge of the High Court. So, statement number D stands incorrect, and that is the right answer. Again, this was taken up from one Indian Express article which talked about the 15 Finance Commission's final report being a game changer for cities. Moving on, a question from Prelims 2020. Under the Kisan Credit Card scheme, short-term credit support is given to farmers for which of the following purposes? Working capital for maintenance of farm assets, purchase of combined harvesters, tractors and mini trucks, consumption requirements of farm households. Number 4, post-harvest expenses. And number 5, construction of family house and setting up of village cold storage facility. Again, you can pause and take an attempt. So, Kisan Credit Card or KCC. This was basically a scheme which was announced way back in 1998-1999 budget speech. And this scheme was announced to fulfill the financial requirements of the farmers at various stages of farming through institutional credit. The model was basically prepared by NABARD on the recommendations of one V. Gupta committee. The KCC is implemented by all the cooperative banks, all the RRBs, and also the public sector banks throughout the country. And what are the objectives? The objectives are to provide adequate and obviously timely credit support from the banking system to farmers at very cheap rate of interests. So what kind of loans are provided? Yes, to provide working capital for maintenance of farm assets and activities allied to agriculture. So the first statement is right. Purchasing of combined harvesters, tractors and mini trucks. No, not for this. Consumption requirements of farm households. Yes, that's true. Post-harvest expenses. That's also true. And again, construction of family house and setting up of village cold storage facility. Now, this is a problem because loans are not provided for construction of family houses. This is also wrong. So considering that, you can choose 1, 3 and 4, B being the answer. And now, time for fact of the day. Since the budget was presented before the Parliament yesterday, we have a question from the budget itself. Consider the following statements. The economic survey is prepared by the Department of Economic Affairs under the Ministry of Finance. Number 2, the annual budget is prepared by the Budget Division of the Department of Expenditure under the Ministry of Finance. Okay, so the first statement, the economic survey. Yes, the economic survey of India is actually an annual document. And yes, it is prepared by the Department of Economic Affairs, which is under the Ministry of Finance, under the guidance of the Chief Economic Advisor of our country. So this statement is correct. Number 2, the annual budget is prepared by the Budget Division. Yes, it is, of the Department of Expenditure. No, the budget division is actually again under the Department of Economic Affairs. So the second statement is wrong. The annual budget is actually prepared by the budget division of the Department of Economic Affairs under the Ministry of Finance. So the second statement is incorrect. So the right answer would be A. So that's all for today. Thank you.